In the heart of downtown Los Angeles, there stands a building cloaked in shadows, both literal and historical. The Cecil Hotel. Its very name is whispered with discomfort, a magnet for tragedy, murder, and madness. But of all the stories buried in its haunted walls, none has captivated, horrified, and mystified the world quite like what happened to a young woman named Elisa Lam. She was just 21 years old, a Canadian college student traveling alone, documenting her trip through Tumblr, and searching for meaning and experience. Instead, what she found, or what found her, was something unspeakable. Because what happened to Elisa Lam wasn't just a disappearance. It wasn't just a death. It was a mystery that continues to spark paranormal theories, conspiracy spirals, and chilling whispers of something much darker than coincidence. Because Elisa was last seen behaving erratically in an elevator, alone, trapped in a box of steel and paranoia. The footage, infamous now, shows her pressing multiple buttons, peeking into the hallway as if being followed, waving her hands in strange, unnatural movements. And then, just like that, she vanishes. What happened next is something out of a nightmare. Something that still makes people refuse to stay in certain hotel rooms. Something that screams one question louder than all others. What really happened to Elisa Lam? Elisa Lam arrived in Los Angeles on January 26, 2013. She had plans to tour the West Coast, San Diego, Santa Cruz, LA, and write about her experiences online. She wasn't reckless, just curious, bright, soft-spoken. The kind of person who read books in cafes and loved vintage stores. She'd even left messages of hope and humor on her Tumblr blog like, "You're always haunted by the idea you're wasting your life." But in LA, something shifted. She checked into the Cecil Hotel, unaware of its dark legacy. She was originally placed in a shared room with other female travelers. But just days later, the hotel moved her to a private room after reports that Elisa had been acting strangely, leaving unsettling notes for roommates, locking doors, and displaying erratic behavior. That was the first red flag. But no one saw what was coming next. On January 31st, Elisa stopped replying to texts. She didn't call home. She missed her checkout date. Her family, immediately alarmed, contacted the LAPD. Flyers went up. Social media exploded. And then, police released the one piece of evidence they had. A grainy, 4-minute video taken from the hotel's elevator. This video changed everything. In it, Elisa enters the elevator wearing a red hoodie and shorts. She presses multiple buttons, seemingly at random. The doors don't close. She peeks out nervously, retreats, hides in the corner, steps out again, looking down the hallway as if someone is there. Then her hands begin to move in erratic, almost dance-like gestures, as if trying to communicate with something, or someone. And then she disappears. The elevator finally closes, reopens, closes again. She is nowhere in sight. The footage went viral overnight. People around the world watched in fascination and horror, and they had theories. Some said she was on drugs. Others believed she was being chased by someone, perhaps someone the hotel refused to acknowledge. Some swore the video had been tampered with, slowed down, or edited to remove someone from the footage. But then, the case took a terrifying turn. For 19 days, Elisa was missing. Her family flew to LA. The hotel was searched. Guests complained about strange water pressure, blackened tap water, and a foul taste. On February 19th, maintenance workers opened the rooftop water tanks and found Elisa's decomposing body floating face up in one of them, naked, lifeless, and locked inside a tank that was reportedly difficult to access. The rooftop itself was secured. The tanks were 10 feet tall with heavy lids. No ladder, no signs of forced entry. And Elisa wasn't just missing her clothes. Her cell phone was never found. Her room key, her watch, and everything else remained untouched. How did she get there? Was she placed there? The autopsy only deepened the confusion. The toxicology report found no traces of drugs or alcohol. Her cause of death? Drowning? accidental. But almost no one believed that. The theories came in waves. Theory 1. Mental illness. Elisa had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. She was prescribed medications, and her online posts often referenced her struggles. The official theory was that she had a psychotic break and climbed into the tank herself. But that theory felt too convenient. The tank's difficulty to access, the heavy lid, the fact that her clothes were found separate, floating, but with no sign of trauma, no defensive wounds, no injuries to suggest panic. Theory 2. Foul play. Many pointed fingers at a man named Morbid, a death metal artist who stayed at the Cecil a year earlier and posted dark videos online. After being wrongly accused by internet sleuths, he became a tragic victim of harassment. But the rumor still lingers in conspiracy corners. Others speculated a hotel employee had access to the roof, that someone took Elisa's phone to hide evidence, that the hotel covered up its involvement, and then came the paranormal. Theory 3. The elevator game. An urban legend popular in Korea and Japan, where players attempt to access another dimension by pressing a sequence of elevator buttons. The eerie similarity to Elisa's elevator behavior shocked many. Was she trying to escape something from another world? Or did she accidentally open a door she wasn't meant to? And finally, the one that refuses to die. Theory 4. The Cecil Curse. The Cecil Hotel is a breeding ground for death. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, lived there during his murder spree. Other serial killers, suicides, and unexplained deaths litter its history. Some believe the hotel itself is cursed. Or worse, alive. Did the Cecil Hotel consume Elisa Lam? Or was she simply another name in its ever-growing list of tragedies? There are still questions that have never been answered. Why didn't the water tank lid close behind her? Why was the timestamp in the elevator video altered? Who had access to the roof? Why didn't hotel staff notice anything unusual during the 19 days she was missing? And most chilling of all, what happened to her phone? The case remains technically closed, labeled accidental, but for millions of people, it is anything but solved. Elisa's final blog post read, "I have arrived in LA. I don't know how I feel." Those words echo like a prophecy, a final whisper before the silence. In death, Elisa Lam became an icon of digital age horror, a real-life ghost story, a modern myth tangled in mental health, internet obsession, hotel secrets, and cosmic dread. Her Tumblr is still online, frozen in time. Visitors leave messages, hoping someone, somewhere, will explain what happened on that elevator, why the doors stayed open, who or what she was talking to. The Cecil Hotel shut down, only to reopen years later as a low-income housing complex. But the legend still lives in its walls, and Elisa's story remains its most haunting chapter. Because what happened to Elisa Lam shouldn't be possible. And yet, it happened. She walked into the elevator, and never walked out. Elisa Lam's story isn't just an unsolved mystery. It's a reflection of everything we fear but can't explain. Surveillance footage that makes no sense. A body found where no one should be able to go. A hotel with a soul-destroying past. And a silence so heavy, it still echoes more than a decade later. We may never know what truly happened on that rooftop. Whether Elisa was running from something inside her mind, or something far more real. But one thing is certain. Her story refuses to be buried. So ask yourself, if someone can vanish in a place surrounded by cameras, guests, and staff, what does that say about the rest of us? If this case chilled you to your core, hit like to support deeper investigations like this one. Subscribe to The Missing Ledger for more real, unsolved mysteries, each one more disturbing than the last. Drop your theories in the comments. We read every single one, because here, the search never stops. The shadows are never empty, and some stories are too haunting to forget.